According to Britannica, cultural appropriation is when someone intentionally or unintentionally uses a part of someone's culture improperly or without permission for profit. In Western countries, cultural appropriation often occurs across a race, where the prevailing culture improperly and offensively uses the cultures of Black people, indigenous people, or people of color. Cultural appropriation does not respect or honor the culture. Instead, cultural appropriation harms the culture and the people who claim it as their way of life. 2021. History and importance of the food identity. Cuisines are often disregarded when it comes to cultural distinctiveness. This is because the diaspora generations adapt their cuisine using ingredients and techniques that are available around them. This is one of the reasons why food keeps evolving. Regardless, every culture sees food as a marker of culinary identity. Cultural appropriation exists everywhere, especially in the culinary industry, despite food constantly changing. For example, the Asian-inspired restaurant is profiting from traditional Asian cuisine and drastically altering the recipe to satisfy the palate of the white culture. This results in the idea that white culture's food is healthy. In contrast, traditional food from other cultures is considered dirty and unhealthy. Filipino cuisine, for example, the adobo, has many variations. This is due to geographical locations, availability of the ingredients, and even the distinction of methods between Filipino families. Nevertheless, Filipino adobo has general ingredients: vinegar, salt or soy sauce, peppercorns, and bay leaf. Because of these simple ingredients, you may think Filipino adobo cannot be culturally appropriated. So what is a traditional Filipino adobo? Filipino adobo is different from Spanish adobo sauce. Long before the conquerors laid eyes on the Philippines, native Filipinos had a way to preserve food. It is by slowly cooking meats with vinegar and salt. When the Chinese traders reached the Philippines and introduced soy sauce to the native Filipinos. As a result, the soy sauce found its way into the nameless vinegar-based dish, replacing the salt. And when the Spaniards conquered the Philippines, the unnamed dish became adobo de los naturales. Adobo came from the Spanish word adubar, which means to marinate or to pickle. Because of linguistic imperialism, the Spanish label stays Estrella, 2022. There are many Filipino adobo appropriation videos on the internet. For example,
I'm making a traditional dish of Filipino adobo.
The Kitchen by Food Network features Filipino adobo by Jeffrey Zakarian. Zakarian's traditional Filipino adobo with chicken thigh. Zakarian uses low-sodium soy sauce, which, according to Zakarian, is very important. This is the first appropriation happening just minutes into the video, tweaking the ingredients to make it a healthy version, disregarding the fundamental components of the traditional Filipino adobo. Then, he also added habanero to the marinade. Unfortunately, habanero does not even grow in the Philippines. I'm guessing not a lot of research went into this TV show. Therefore, whoever is responsible for this TV segment is mixed up with some other culture's adobo recipe. In addition, Filipinos do not like spicy food, or at least use a chili pepper that grows in the Philippines. Next, he added tons of water before simmering. The conventional Filipino adobo is not watery. Zakarian turns traditional Filipino adobo into a soup. Usually, Filipino adobo does not need water. The marinade and the moisture from the meat are enough. And to make matters worse, Zakarian added parsley and lemon as a garnish. Parsley does not belong to Filipino cuisine or Asian cuisine. He wanted to use garnish. He could have used spring onions or cilantro. Filipino cuisine is slowly being recognized globally as the Filipino diaspora immigrates all over the globe. One famous chef, Nigella Lawson, went to the Philippines to study Philippine cuisine, particularly Filipino adobo. During her interview on a national TV channel in the Philippines, she said she tried 4 variations of Filipino adobo. Also, Filipino pork adobo is ranked top 6 on the best eats and drinks at the 2022 Festival of Holidays at Disneyland Resort. Before attempting to cook someone's cuisine and broadcasting it globally, one should research what the dish represents to that culture, traditional ingredients, and cooking techniques. Always bear in mind that food is part of somebody's identity.